Welcome back to Bali Today. All right, my guest is a really, really amazing person who has a huge story to tell. And his name is Agung Nugroho. So thank you very much, Agung, for joining us here.
Thank you for having me.
It's lovely, yeah?
Beautiful.
We get the poolside. It's fun. Okay, now everybody has a Bali story, and you're sort of in the reverse. So what I should ask you is tell me your America story.
Well, I live in America for almost 20 some years.
Yeah. That's a big deal. Like, you went to New York for the first time?
Yeah, actually.
Wow. How did you feel? Island boy, you know, here you are in the big city. What was that like?
Well, actually I went there for study.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and then lead me to study cooking and work in New York City.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Now, New York was, I assume, a little bit easy because there's so many people from everywhere, right?
At the beginning, when I was young, I was there when I was 18 years old. You know what I mean? When it's really, it was September and in November, it was like really, really cold.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I
freezing.
wouldn't handle it at all. I can't stand the cold. Okay.
And
So this is you for your first time ever being this cold.
yes.
How did you cope?
Well, you want to need to go back to Bali, to Indonesia again.
Yeah. So when you first started working, did someone take you under their wing, so to speak, as in the industry, or just pure hard work?
Just pure hard work.
Okay, congratulations. That makes you feel better in the end, doesn't it?
Yes, I work. I'm a chef at a few snobby restaurants in New York City.
Did you say snobby restaurants in New York City?
Well, it's a high-end restaurant.
Please tell me, because I don't know, and I'm a complete country girl, so.
Well, I work for John George, and then Nobu. I'm sure everybody, if you know the name, and.
Your venture in Bali here is a restaurant, I believe.
Yes.
And it's called?
I run a restaurant called Chandi Restaurant.
Okay, where is that?
On Jalan Laksmana.
Oh, that's Eat Street, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, we'll know it. Oh, good. When did you open? Because I don't get around much, but when did you open Chandi?
Well, I opened Chandi 3 years ago. I think it's 2008. Sorry, 3 years ago, 2008.
Soon to be 3.
Soon to be 3, yes. Well, the reason we opened this restaurant, actually, in 2006, I was in Indonesia researching for food for a restaurant in New York City. Everywhere in the archipelago, Sumatra, Java, and Bali, of course. And then, but it meant for a New York restaurant.
Did you go back to New York?
Yes, I went back to New York. Actually, my wife was pregnant, and then we found out in New York City. Then he was supposed to be born, or he was born on August 2007.
Okay.
And then you imagine that if you're pushing your stroller in New York City at under 3 degree or below, I don't know, freezing cold in New York City. So I think it's good for us to be in Bali.
I know my own experience as a parent that once you have children, I was happy to have left my own country. But once I had children, all of a sudden, I don't know, as a parent, you either feel that your kids should have what you had, or you feel that's what you can give them as a parent. I don't know, what was it for you?
Well, like I said, like living in New York City, like under 30 or minus 30 degree, which is like kind of like, you know, if you imagine when you were a child, in the childhood, which is, you know, you live here in Indonesia with no shirt on, and then I want my son to be, you know, sleeping in the bedroom without any shirt on, and then running around in the field.
Yeah.
And just that. That's the first thing that I came back to Bali just for my son. The second thing is like the quest of bringing Indonesian food, which is I'm a chef, into a sort of a different level out of.
That'll be so great, you know, because some people move here and they just draw a curtain and say, because now we have so many choices here, and they just say, that's it, I don't eat Indonesian food, and I don't think that's a good attitude.
Well, it's good actually. The quest is like to embrace traditional food and translate it into like internationally sort of like cuisine or dish. So I want to inspire like a younger cook to become obviously become a chef, and then proud of Indonesian.
Oh, see, everyone has a mission. Everyone has a mission. So you see that your life and your life experience, you can bring something and give it back here in Bali, yeah?
Yeah, it's the Bali. It's good. I mean, it's easy to do good in Bali. I mean, it's like to inspire people in Bali.
It sounds to me like I never thought of a chef as an artist, but the way you're talking is like an artist. That in your soul, it's the inspiration in your life that you then apply into cooking, which is fascinating. I'm not a foodie, so there you go. But what else inspires you then?
Well, it's sort of like a contrast for me too. Yeah, if for example, when we live in New York City, if you sit in the park having a coffee and New York Times, and then somebody sit next to you, and then I don't know, keep talking until you said stop, or chewing your ears, per se.
The lonely people.
The lonely people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you feel like you have the guys give you inspiration.
Okay,
You know
that's
what I mean?
true.
So
That's true.
it's somewhat okay. You learn something from today. You know what I mean? So that impact, maybe if I speak to the younger cook here in Bali, which is really meaningful for them. First of all, how you fold the towel, and then how you braise, how you how you.
Absolutely, and you're the real deal. Not. I guess I could say, without being too much, the last 15 or 20 years in Bali, a lot of people who, let's say, they decide they're going to start a restaurant, and you say, what's your background? And they go, well, I've eaten in a lot of them. That's the people that the young Balinese are wanting this knowledge, but they're getting it not necessarily from a really good source, and you're a great source.
We get like it's really easy to get inspired in New York City.
Okay.
Yep. In Bali, sort of you have to look around. Say you have to, for your inspiration, you have to look around. For my inspiration, you know what I mean, so I can transform it to my my teammate or my employee.
You know what we should do? Where's cutlery? We need to put cutlery in his hands. He'll be fine with a knife in his hands, yeah? I'm jealous, I have to tell you. I'm one of those women absolutely devoid of any culinary skills. I can't cook at all.
Well, yeah. At first in Bali, I think for me it's hard. I thought it's hard to find people like to give inspiration or inspiring person in Bali.
That's true, compared to New York,
compared
right?
to New York City, yeah. You know what I mean? It's like.
You've brought something to my attention, which I wasn't really aware of. I mean, of course, if you've lived in America, you know there's people walking around, the homeless people sometimes, most of the time, and a lot of them have really serious mental problems. And they just, in the streets of New York or the streets of Los Angeles, they just become part of the scenery. But you don't see that here. Why is that?
Well, you haven't seen like mentally illness people running around in Bali, right?
No.
Just on the street? Somebody,
No. A few of my expat compatriots, who've drunk too much, maybe. But yeah,
well,
what's the deal?
Well, I'm really inspired by this woman, which is a beautiful, brightest human being. I think is live in Bali. Her name is Ibu Suryani. Actually, it's Professor Dr. Suryani.
Okay.
Which is
Sorry, I have to repeat it because my Indonesian is just so terrible. Suryani.
Suryani.
Thank you.
Professor Dr. Suryani. He runs Suryani Institute of Mental Illness, which is actually she help more than 100 people restrained, and then being kept in the back of the yard. And what's the Balinese belief? Sometimes if it's you have a mental illness, you are the what's the word?
Touched by black magic, I understand.
Yes, basically your curse.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah.
So Ibu Suryani was like alone by herself, village after village, with her knowledge as a doctor in psychology, and practicing the Balinese meditation, which is actually really, really fit in basically the East or the Western.
I understand. I think what makes life here so wonderful for me is that there's a time where there's a fusion now. Things that the Balinese have been doing for centuries are now starting to be seen by the Western world as the right way to go about things, but not all of them. So this is a situation in which something from the West can come in and help the people here. I'm sorry, I have so many questions. Is this unique to Bali, this attitude towards the mentally ill people? Is this, I mean, you know, you hear stories in the media about it happening all over, you know, the world, but...
Well, I think it's just a shame to have like somebody have a mental illness in the family, and then this is believed too. Once you says the person are ill, they make a fun of him. You know, it's not they treat him like a.
Outcast is usually the word.
Yes, the outcast.
Yeah, which is not, I know, like, I guess once again, there's interesting, I don't know if we'll have time for it today, but there's an interesting parallel how people in the United States just get used to having the somewhat mentally ill people who may be homeless just walking around in the society, and they don't feel motivated to do anything really. But so Ibu Suryani is making a difference, and that inspires you.
Yes.
Wow. Well, thank you. Thank you. I suggest that we're going to put that information on our website, all right? So we're going to put Ibu Suryani's information on our website, and you can find out what she's doing, because she's doing a lot of wonderful things.
Yes, I think it's www.suryaniinstitute.com or .org.
Thanks. I'll make sure. We'll make sure, and I'll put it on the thing. Agung, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Okay. All right. It may rain any minute now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we're going to take a little break, and we'll come back to Bali today. Thank you.
Okay.
We lived.